Hey, Anton here, and in this video we're going to talk about building your email list. And this is something that probably a lot of people with viral sites aren't really considering because they're just worried about AdSense and getting the media buy traffic right on based on the initial visit and once and done type stuff. So with this, we're going to try to really plan a long-term monetization tactic with the list that's coming in, because if you followed the process so far, you've probably built your viral site with a niche in mind, or some kind of passionate topic where it makes sense to start building an email list around that topic. And what they always say is very true: the money is in the list. And by that I mean, if you have a targeted email list in any niche, and if you can get them to open those emails, and you could be their guide, their voice of reason, and just have conversational emails with them, and they don't think that you're just trying to necessarily sell them, well, that's very powerful, and you can actually make a lot of money just like that. All right, so the first thing in order to set your email list up is you need to set up your autoresponder, and there are lots of different autoresponders to use. I'm personally going to show you one that I like to use, which is GetResponse, and there's going to be links for all this stuff underneath the video. You can just follow the steps. So an autoresponder, if you don't know, is basically setting up an email sequence where based on certain days they will get an email. So you just kind of have to type all these emails up once and just let it go. So right now we're looking at the inside of GetResponse, and you can see this is for a campaign for Siberian Huskies. So right here, these are the days that they get an email. So day 0 is the welcome email, and then you can see there's a few days of a gap, and then they get another email. And you want to spread these out. You don't want to get, you don't want to send them an email every day. It could get annoying. So you just kind of want to look at that sweet spot. I think once a week is fine, as long as you're keeping it light and your emails are not just like a spam fest of buy this and buy that. So let's just look at the first one, and we'll just take a quick look here at what I'm saying. So this one's just, the subject is just welcome to the Husky Club. And I'm using an alias here, and that's perfectly legal, and just welcomes them to the club. I let them know that I'll be sharing some Husky products and other stuff that people who love Huskies might be interested in. All right, so keep the first email very light, and just let them know you're here and you're going to be emailing them, so they're not surprised when they get more. So here's the next email they get about 5 days later, and you can read through this. It's just very quick, showing them a product that, and you want to play with price points here. So depending on your niche, I don't know what people, if you've done, the proper target or the proper audience analysis, and your target demographic and what they can spend and what their financial background is, you can kind of determine what to show them in these emails. So let's just look at this one here. This is for a magnetic salt and pepper shaker through Amazon, and this is an Amazon affiliate link. So I would also suggest that you join Amazon's affiliate program. You're not going to get rich off of it, but we're dealing in volume here, so a couple sales a day quickly adds up as you start to trickle in sales here. And this is currently unavailable, but it's up to you how much you want to pay attention to all these autoresponders. So with me having so many breeds, it's hard to really keep track of this when stuff goes out of sale. And it may come back, obviously, once it gets in stock again. Or you can outsource that part also. So this is just the example of what I'm talking about here. And let me see if I can find another email. What is this one? I think this one is for an affiliate program through, let me just double check. Yeah, so this is an email I'm using to promote a ClickBank product, which is actually a recurring monthly product, and in one of my other videos I showed this.
Hi,
it's actually very high converting, and for some reason people like to buy a monthly program for training your dog. Amazing to me too that I have a lot of recurring billing just for this product alone. So I put this in the email sequence as well. So what you want to do is you want to first, in the autoresponder, like I said, you start getting these emails set up, and then you can start integrating the offers. But the most important thing really with these emails is keep it conversational, keep it light, You know, say, hey, you know, this is something I saw in a store, or I like this and I thought maybe you'd be interested in it. You know, just keep it as human as possible, I guess I could say. And I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit, but you definitely want to integrate like Amazon products, like I showed you. ClickBank is great. Even t-shirts for your breed. You know, if there's like a t-shirt, and I think I may have it in somewhere along the sequence here, because, oops, it goes out to, so you can show more days. So you can see this goes out quite extensively here in terms of all these products that are getting promoted. And again, you don't get rich off of one person coming through the sequence, but as you have hundreds and thousands coming through the sequence, that's when you really start to see monetization come to fruition. And it's nice to see all that income come in from different sources. And you have this, keep in mind, this is one breed that I'm using. I don't know what the niche you're building, but you know, if you can segment, great. So going back to, let me see, going to the actual dog site. Okay, so I have this pop up. So we're on my site, dogviral.buzz right now. And if they try to exit, when they try to exit, there's a plugin I use, and it basically is called exit intent, and as far as when this pops up. So as they start to go to the X, this will pop up. And I'm segmenting. So what I'm doing is this is a really handy tool where it lets me laser target based on this. So if they come to a golden retriever page on dogviral.buzz, they're going to see this presented to them, and I'm kind of setting them up. I know they're going to probably choose golden retriever as their favorite breed, right? So and then this comes up here and enter their best email, and now they're in my sequence. Great. So how am I doing all this? Well, I like to use this plugin called Opt-in Monster. And what Opt-in Monster does is it allows you to do a couple things. It allows you to do the exit intent I was talking about, and it also allows you to set up a custom HTML based pop-up, and I'll get to that in a minute. And it has a mobile add-on, so you can actually show the pop-up for just people who have mobile devices, or you can only focus on desktop users. So a lot of these email opt-ins, they only show up for desktop users, but this one's great because it'll do mobile too. So if you go to your phone and go to dogviral.buzz for one of the categories, you should see a mobile add-on pop up, which is super handy because, you know, a lot of people are on their devices and mobile is just getting bigger. So if you're missing out on mobile, you're missing out on a lot of potential emails you could be getting. All right. Now that's as far as you can take it if you want. If you want to dial down into all the individual, if you have, like I'm doing dogs, so I have all the individual breeds. If you're in a niche where you have a similar type of situation, what you can do is do the survey squeeze type thing. So this is the survey opt-in where you first get them to click something so you can narrow it even further. And now we get them in this. Now the way I'm doing that, it's a separate tool, and it's called Offer Funnel. The way Offer Funnel works is it'll segment your emails based on survey questions essentially. So you just try to funnel them into what different things that you want. So let me just go to the first one here for dog breed funnel, and I'll just open this. Whoops. Okay, so this one's just for the Husky, Yorkie, Pug Dog, and German Shepherd one. And just to show you, let me look at, okay, I'll edit it real quick. So it's very simple. You would just set up, you just name the funnel. You don't need to worry about any of this retargeting stuff unless you really want to get into the weeds with it. But so the first step is just a question. What is your favorite dog breed? And then I give them 4 options, different breeds, even though I know where they're landing. Because if we go back to Opt-in Monster, and I'll show you some of my campaigns. So let's just look at, and I have some of these disabled because I'm testing a few things right now, but so let's look at, we'll just look at this one here for Huskies and stuff. Husky, Yorkie, Pug Dog, German Shepherd. And if I go to modify, we can see that I have this is the iframe. This is using the canvas part of Opt-in Monster, and I put the iframe in here from Offer Funnel. Okay, and if we go to configuration, this is where I put, let's see, okay, so it has exit intent on, maybe it's under output, let me just double check. Okay, so output, I'm saying that I only want this pop-up to appear on German Shepherds, Pug Dogs, Siberian Huskies, and Yorkies, and these are just categories of the website. based on how I post the viral content. All right, so going back over to here, let me go back to this part. So if I view segments, this is where you really get into what you're doing. So let's just look at German Shepherds. I'll edit this segment. And this is standard here. This is the answer that we would have for this. So you just match the title with the answer, and then thank you page options. And you want to create a thank you page. And actually, this reminds me, I had to change my name. So I'm dogviral.buzz now. All right, and this is where you just put like a little text and image here. And this is where you integrate get response. So in order to do this, what you do on get response is you go back to the dashboard. Oh, I guess I could have done it the other way. So you go to web forms and you got to create a new web form. All right, and here I'm just gonna turn off header and footer and even name, because I'm only asking for the email address. All right, let's go to next step. And then I'm just gonna call this one test husky. Okay, and you can have them confirmed opt-in, which is what you usually want on. And then the custom thank you page, I usually still send them back to that same link here. Alright, and then just go to next step. And you're going to click on show HTML code. And you're just going to highlight all this, copy it, and down here, you're going to have your autoresponder, which is get response, and then you're just going to paste that code right here. So I would paste this code, but this is already to another web form. So you just want to match the web form to what your breed is, or whatever your niche that you're doing. That is if you want to segment this deep. You don't have to do that if you're just doing, something on preppers. I don't know how many levels deep you can do. I don't know how many, if you want to do a survey to really segment them. All right, outside of the dog niche, if you wanted to use this, I could give you an example of, all right, let's say you're doing preppers and, like survival type stuff. You might have a survey pop up and say, do you consider yourself a more of the following? And then you could have A be a prepper, 2 could be survivalist, and 3 could just be both. I don't know, whatever you wanted to do. And that's if you think there's some value in knowing the difference between those different targeted lists, and then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't really worry about it. But that's how I use offer funnel. That's pretty much how it's done. So really by the steps, step 1 is go ahead and get response as your autoresponder. Start typing up those emails, and if you need an example of the emails, just go to my website or go to anyone in your niche's website. Chances are they have a pretty decent autoresponder if they know what they're doing, and you could just kind of copy what they've done and just borrow and modify. So was step 1, sign up to get response. Step 2, you're going to type up those emails, type up the sequence. Step 3, I would say integrate your affiliate products. So that's Amazon products, maybe ClickBank, Teespring, and anything else you can really think of. All right, let me see, new slide, we'll go step 4. You want to, all right, so we've got your emails typed up, you've got your get response is good to go. Now you need to actually show people how to join your opt-in list. So I would recommend Opt-in Monster. So go ahead and get Opt-in Monster, and let me go back over to that real quick. So with Opt-in Monster, I'll exit this. The add-ons you want are Exit Intent, because I think that's a really good one. Exit Intent add-on. Definitely the mobile add-on, which is right here. Now you can get the Canvas add-on, but I wouldn't get Canvas unless you plan on using Offer Funnel. If you just plan on doing one email list, then that's fine, just stick with this. And if you're just sticking with one of these, when you create an opt-in, it's very straightforward. So I'll just, if I were to create a new opt-in here, they have templates already, so it already has the email and stuff built in, the names and everything, and you can just customize this a little bit. So I'm not using this because I'm showing them a survey because I'm dialing down so deep. But if you're only going one level to your actual site and you don't care about segmenting any deeper than that, you could just do something like this, you know, name it, whatever, and then select it. And you can add pictures, and it's just a nice easy way to get emails. And you can do all the configuration here I showed you about, so you can still only show this based on certain categories if you wanted to under output and that sort of thing. You could only show it for to certain pages, etc. There's a lot of customization you can do with this. It's really completely up to you. All right, let me go back over to my PowerPoint. So we'll say canvas is optional if using offer funnel. Okay, and all you really need to worry about, you can get more advanced and start hiring virtual assistants to scale this out and monitor your products if they become unavailable on Amazon, or if you have your own products, you know, you can even go that route if you actually supply these products yourself. Completely up to you. A lot of options to go with this. And the main thing though is really just building the email list, and don't neglect it, because once you let your email list sit too long without really communicating with them, it starts to kind of die off. And if you ever try to revisit them down the road, they may not realize who you are and mark you as spam, etc. So the main thing is keep a good, healthy autoresponder going. Keep it light, keep it conversational, promote products to them, but do it in a way that's not overly salesy, if that makes sense to you. And yeah, as long as you keep driving traffic to your viral website, you're going to be able to drip feed in targeted email lists for your niche, and you can just monetize that all day, every day. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.